next on O'Reilly Auto Parts Motor Mania. From Wisner, Nebraska, the Super Farm tractors start pulling in Thunder by the River. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Thunder by the River. It's the B-State Super Nationals here on this week's edition of O'Reilly Auto Parts Motor Mania. Hello again, everyone. Ted Jones, Mike Side here with you. And weighing is a very important part of truck and tractor pulling. They have very strict and specific weight rules. Joining me in the booth right now for this week's edition, our expert analyst, Claude Wood.
And you see the proud declaration right on the John Deere, fear the deer.
Well, we'll have those tractors a little later in the show. Right now, we'll get started out with the 4x4 competition. Heather Compton out of the Show Me State brings the Rat Trap to the line.
These are pro stock 4x4s, and immediately you notice the tires. They must use street legal tires on all the vehicles.
And that's very important because good gripping tires make a difference, and when you're using street legal tires, it means you can't hook up near as well. Oh, Heather, right along that out of bounds line. If she touches that white line, she's disqualified. Tippy-toeing right down the side of the track, 287 feet. Good job of driving right there by Heather Compton. In the older Model Ford. Now in the newer Model Ford, here comes Jeremy Atnip from Jasper, Missouri.
And you see on the front the heavy Holland Ford. Earlier in the show, you saw one of the trucks go across the scales. 6,200-pound limit. You can weigh less, but no more than that for these trucks.
Unlike many forms of motorsports, in pulling, weight is an advantage. 269 feet will not match Heather's previous mark of 287 feet, so we'll move on now with Philip Kressler, the full strut out of Lincoln, Missouri.
And listen, you can hear that engine scream. By the way, 485 cubic inch, that's the limit.
Boy, that's a pretty big limit. Look at the gorgeous paint job right there on Philip's truck. He sets the new mark to be 295.11 feet. We'll take one more look at it right now with our replay.
And I was talking to the drivers a few minutes ago, Ted, down in the pits. All the drivers really praise this course. You can see the wheels right there. Great shot. Look how it's biting into the dirt as he picks up the yardage right there.
Remember, street legal tires is what you have to run in this category. There's a good shot of Tammy Morris, dazed and confused. No, not Tammy. That's the name of her truck.
And you can see in the cockpit there, if you think it looks pretty stock, it is. They are pro stock trucks. With a little bit of modification, they could all be street legal.
Again, the street legal tires right there. Tammy, all four wheels churning away right now. Engine wide open. Look at her churn again right down that sideline. They don't like the middle of the course here today. And she ends up 296 feet. She's a new leader by 1 foot. They call it the sport of inches. Take one more look at it, Claude Wood.
And you pointed out she chose to go, it's on our right side of the screen. Look how close she is to the out of bounds line. And look underneath. Look at the tires shimmy and shake, but she's still holding true, going straight down the course.
And she ended up almost a full pull. A full pull is 300 feet, although they do have a floating finish line. Now here's Philip Kessler, the Show Me Chevy out of Lincoln, Missouri.
And let's see where he lines up. Most of the pullers so far have been on the right side of our screen. By the way, if you're interested, this truck is for sale. Get your wallet.
You can get started in truck pulling right away. Just buy this one, away you go. Let's see if it's one that you're going to want. Still going down the course. Digging in all four tires, spins to a halt at 288 feet. Not bad, less than 10 feet off the lead mark set by Tammy Morris. Now, Jeremy Atnip, the excavator from Jasper, Missouri, will be up next.
We pointed out a few minutes ago, Ted, that these are mostly stock. They are pro stock. You must have the same make engine as the body style. In other words, a Ford and a Ford, a Chevy and a Chevy.
In this case, it's a Ford and a Ford for Jeremy. 281 feet, good enough for 5th place thus far. And a reminder, our Thunder by the River on O'Reilly Motor Mania is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, home of the professional parts people. And by Low Car Performance Products, quality, plain and simple. And by Max Brake, the new revolution in brake controls. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more from Wisner, Nebraska after this. You're watching O'Reilly Auto Parts Motor Mania, coming to you this week from Thunder by the River at Wisner Riverside Park, Wisner, Nebraska. We're right in the middle of our Pro Stock 4x4 class. Here's our next puller, Andrew Buschgeist, the wicked sensation of Jefferson City, Missouri.
And we might point out, Ted, this is the 25th anniversary of the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association, and what a great pull we're having here in Nebraska.
Great sanctioning body. They get some great pullers, 290 feet. Not good enough to take the lead away from Tammy Morris, who set it previously at 296 feet. But Mike Compton with his Ford Tough will give it a try, Claude.
And you notice Ford written everywhere. A few minutes ago, the pull before, Andrew had Chevy everywhere. I think if you went up to Mike and said, Ford, huh? He would say, didn't know they made anything else.
Haven't seen a Dodge in here yet. Everything is Chevy and Ford thus far. Mike, 291 feet. Oh, so close. The sport of inches, not good enough to take the lead, though. Let's take another look at that pull.
True to form, everyone lining up to the right of our screen. For some reason, the drivers are feeling that is where the best traction is going to be. But toward the end of this run, watch how the track grabs him. It's pulling him closer to the center of the track.
Well, we have one more puller in the category, Larry Hollis, right now with Footloose 2 out of Missouri. All of our pullers coming from the Show Me State. Gorgeous paint job, Claude.
It is. Look at those flames on the hood of the truck. And he's carried that theme right down the side. And listen to that engine scream.
Right along that sideline again, getting closer and closer and closer, and finally he stalls out nowhere near the lead. Tammy Morris is our winner. As a matter of fact, notice how close it was. Look at second place, less than a foot away, and then 4 feet behind that Mike Compton. Meanwhile, Doc Riley is with the president of the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pullers Association.
Thanks, Ted. 25 years the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pullers Association's been on the planet, and they've been putting pulls out throughout the entire United States. Boy, Wisner, Nebraska, what an incredible pull. Just your thoughts on coming to this little tiny town up here in northeast Nebraska.
Well, they started this 3 years ago, and they have done a good job and done it right. They want to be the biggest pull in the country, and they're well on their way to doing that.
They've got a great track. They've got some drainage underneath it. They got free airboat rides. They've got incredible VIP. People can bring their lawn chairs here. And I guess this really just kind of started off as a campground, and they've turned it into a permanent pulling facility.
Yeah, this is a park here, and they've turned this section of it into just for pulling. Fuller's Park, and I tell you what, it's nice. It's nice.
Let's talk about the year you guys are having with the O'Reilly Outlaw Tractor Pullers. It's been really, really good. Tight point battles all across the board. Incredible super stocks. The two-wheel drives, the mods, everybody's doing really, really well. As you can see, another guy who might be going out the gate. Just your thoughts on this year for the OTTPA.
Well, this is our 25th anniversary. You know, I've been president for 10 years now. We've really grown quite a bit here, and we are having a ball this year. We started out slow, a lot of rain outs. Everybody's heard about the bad weather, Iowa, Texas, and all through there. We actually had 9 events rained out. But now we've hit our stride here last month or so and putting on some good events.
You know, when people, I think they think of tractor pulling, they think about the Midwest and the Plains states, but you walk through the pit area here, everyone's got a smile on their face. The competitors are all helping each other. Guys are lining up, going through the scales. They almost run themselves. That says an awful lot about your organization. Everyone working together, from the competitors to your officials to the promoters.
You're exactly right, Doc. Outlaws has always been a family bunch, you know. We have a lot of 2- and 3-day events, and, you know, our kids have grown up together. We're all just one big family, and that's the way we do. We compete on the track, but afterwards, we're a big family.
Is there anything better than a beautiful night in Nebraska, in the Midwest, tractor pulling?
It's hard to beat. Hard to beat.
It really is hard to beat. Congratulations on the first 25, and best of luck on the next 25.
Thank you, Doc.
And with that, we'll take a break. When we come back, the Super Farm tractors will be up. Here's the first one getting ready to hook now. Stay with us, please. More from Wisner, Nebraska. You're watching O'Reilly Auto Parts Motor Mania, the Thunder by the River, a part of the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pullers Association event, the B-State Super Nationals. Ted Jones, Claude Wood, Mike Side here with you. Doc Riley's down at the finish line as we get ready to start out the Super Farm category with David Fleming from Keener, Nebraska. Tell us a little bit about Super Farms.
Well, Ted, the Super Farm class is the newest of the tractor classes for the OTTPA. And they're just getting started and doing a great job. They're all turbos, but they are limited to one turbo.
And just like all the tractor classes in tractor pulling, it's going to be International Harvester against John Deere and then some of the other guys. David Fleming, 302 feet, will set the mark to beat. Boy, that's a great way to start off.
We do have a 9,200-pound limit, and no alcohol fuel can be used. It's all that black diesel that you see coming at you right there.
Bob Andrews, wheels high in the air for the Predator, he calls it, out of South Dakota. Now he sets the front wheels down, crosses over to the other side of the track, and finally stalls her out at 298 feet, good for second place.
Bob Andrews kind of took a tour of the track on that one, Ted. Went on from the right to the middle to the left. Well, let's see what Rodney Jedlicka can do.
He calls this the Feedlot Special from Schuyler, Nebraska. You're allowed to go anywhere you want on the track. It's about 30 feet wide as long as you stay between those two white lines. But remember, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, like Rodney just did, to take the lead at 314 feet.
And again, he lined himself up right on the right, and he stayed there pretty much for the entire length of his pull.
Listen to Tim Lotman out of Beatrice, Nebraska, wind up that John Deere. Now watch the front end come way up in the air. Again, straight and true, right down the center of the track, Claude.
That is great if he comes straight up, but if he doesn't have to get on the brakes, then he did exactly what you want to do.
Good for second place at 312 feet, not to be outdoing the 314-foot set up already by Rodney Jedlicka. Ron Eman will be up next. Things are turning red right now. The Fire and Ice International Harvester tractor right here.
And listen to that engine. It's 640 cubic inch, but get this. It has to be a stock engine, Ted. No messing around under there and changing things.
Boy, a great job, 307 feet. These guys are doing very well. Now, you may wonder, with a Super Farm tractor, how can you pull over 300 feet? Well, they don't put as much weight in the sled. Let's go for a ride right now with Denny Healy.
And you're on board as he spools up the turbo, and he's underway, and now he's not underway.
No, you saw that black smoke go away. Something broke just off the line right there. He'll get to try it again. This time, no, a problem one more time.
Look at the tach down at the bottom. It all of a sudden went to zero.
Let's get outside the tractor now and see exactly what happened right there.
Spooling up the turbo, looking for the black smoke to come up. It did. Everything is working great at this point up until right there.
And that was in slow motion too, folks, about half the real speed. So we'll just move on to our next guy right now. This is Jim Chavatal, the dark horse from Wahoo, Nebraska.
We'll see if it's Wahoo. Look where he positioned himself, Ted. Everyone else has been on the right side of the screen. He started out right in the middle. How's that going to work out for him?
Well, not too well. He finally runs out of horsepower. Stalls are out at only 306 feet, so we'll move along to our next puller. This is Craig Witt. He calls it Just Because.
And I think something is changing in the track, Ted. That is the reason that most people have been lining up on the right side. You notice when he lined up on the center of the track, look at this. The track already is grabbing him, pulling him over to the left just a little bit.
Remember, he does not want to have to correct very much because he has to hit the brakes, which slows him down 301 feet. Can the track be going away? Well, Wayne Limerow hopes not with the Fear the Deer out of Boone, Iowa.
And look where Limerow is. He's on the right side. He's gone to school on the pullers that have been before him. Let's see how it works out going back to the right of the track.
Remember, the lead right now is currently 314.06 feet. Oh, the John Deere's on a run, folks. He's already exceeded that. Finally stopped 321 feet, well beyond that 300-foot line. We've got a new leader. We got to take another look at it.
Look at those huge tires in the back. Grab a hold of this track. Remember, all of the pullers said, we love this track here in Nebraska.
Well, when he got down to the finish line, our Doc Riley was there waiting on him to see just what our new leader thought about that pull.
A hot day pulling, and right now you've got the lead in the class, which says a lot with the Super Farm class.
Yes, it does, and there's a tough bunch of guys out there, so now I just see if I can hold the mark now.
You know, tell me a little bit about this track. How tough is it coming off the line?
This track has been the best track I've been on so far this year. It's got a heck of a bite on the line, and she works you all the way down. And so it's a horsepower track, and my tractor has that, and that's why I like it.
Hey, tell us how it is. Lots of horsepower. We'll take a break. When we come back, more smokers. Stay with us, please. This edition of O'Reilly Auto Parts Motor Mania brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, home of the professional parts people. And by United Specialties, home of the trendsetter. And by Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Back in the Super Farm category right now, Craig Dennis will be our next puller out of Weeping Water, Nebraska. The current lead is being held by Wayne Limereau at 321 feet, Claude.
And Ted, we've mentioned a few minutes ago about the track, the positioning on it. Usually in a daytime pull, the track tends to go away, but I think if you look at all the totals, they're staying pretty much true to form.
By the way, another note on Craig Dennis. I love the names on these tractors. This one is the Screaming Petunia. Well, it's because he's from Weeping Water. Again, I don't know. Let's move on to Justin Caven right now. Magnum Force, an old Clint Eastwood fan.
There you go. And he again is lined up on the right side of the track. Look at all the black smoke that's coming out of there as he builds up the turbo.
Boy, he's on a run. He just keeps going and going and going and going. Will he ever stall out? Yeah! New leader, 328.05 feet. Justin Caven, that's worth a replay.
It certainly is. We'll see how he did it right there. Look at all the smoke coming out of there as the huge crowd on hand is really enjoying this day. Straight and true right down the track. Didn't have to touch the brakes once.
And when he got there, Doc Riley was waiting for him.
Well, first of all, just your thought on that pass.
Well, I think we had a hell of a good pass. Don't know if it'll hold. There's a lot of good tractors to come yet.
328 feet, that's pretty good, Justin, let me tell you. Here comes Lynn Stumey out of Plainfield, Iowa.
And he calls it the Untamed John Deere. You kind of get the idea. He doesn't know what this one's going to do.
Now, if you're not used to watching truck and tractor pulling, you know, really competition here between International Harvesters. Those are the red tractors, and John Deere, those are the green tractors. They really get into it, like Chevy versus Ford with the trucks. Lynn, 321 feet, valiant try, not good enough to take over Justin Caven's lead at 328. So Rodney Davison, the Red Iron from Cosby, Missouri, will give it a shot with his International Harvester.
And you did mention something about brand loyalty, probably just as much, maybe more so, in the sport of tractor pulling than you will find anywhere.
Well, I think he's going to come up way short. 317 feet. I say way short. Anything over 300 feet is really very good. But when the leader's at 328, 317 is way short. Here comes Stephen Caven right now. Pride of the farm, he calls it. Again, from Wahoo, Nebraska. Is he related to Justin?
Oh, that's his brother, and there's going to be some interesting conversation after this pull is over. This is sibling rivalry at its best.
Well, he's doing a great job moving around there quite a bit, though, just a little bit. How close can you get? I don't believe it. 328.08 feet. Remember, Justin had 328.05. Talk about a sport of inches, Claude.
If that doesn't point it out, I don't know what does. And he's really going to point that out to his brother when they get back home tonight. Look at him as he goes straight and true. Look at the concentration. Well, it's hard to see past the black smoke, but believe me, he is looking at the sidelines right there.
No, he doesn't want to touch that sideline. How about it, Doc Riley?
3 inches over your brother. Just describe that pass.
Well, it felt real good coming out, and I'm surprised the tractor carried it that long, because I worked on a lot of tractors, this one and the other one, and I didn't think it'd get up there, but I'm just happy it did.
Do you think that mark will hold?
No. I think there's a lot of horsepower sitting back there yet. I think it might get overtaken.
Well, I don't know. 328 anything is tough. Chad Wheatsenkamp right here out of Hooper, Nebraska, and he calls it someday.
Someday. And he lines up right in the middle of the course. Look at that, immediately off the starting line, wheels straight up in the air, and he's having to make very few adjustments.
Having a tough time, struggling there, settles for 303 feet. Tell you, these guys pull 300 feet like it's nothing. Here comes Mark Roberts. He calls it Spanky's Toy. Now, this is not an International or a John Deere.
No, and you can tell it's blue, so it's got to be a Ford. It's a New Holland.
Well, Mark on a good run again, right down that sideline. Wheels are down on the ground, though. Not a good sign indeed. He settles for 301 feet. And finally, our last puller coming up. You can bet right now Stephen Caven is watching Brian Deck to see if the Dream On will be able to beat his 328.08.
And Brian has had the opportunity to go to school, so to speak, to watch all of the other pullers, and he does line up just a little bit on the right-hand side.
Oh, he's coming on.
Not quite enough.
Close, though, at 322 feet. Good enough for third place. Let's go to Doc Riley with our winner.
It seems like your class is extremely, extremely tight. You guys, just a couple of inches, separate you from the rest of the field. But it seems like the guy that maybe finished second place, you know pretty well.
Yeah, that's my brother. It might be a long ride home.
You think so?
Yeah, he's, I don't know, he hasn't talked to me yet, so I don't know what it's going to be like.
Well, I mean, at least he got second place. You kept it in the family.
Yeah, he can't complain.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You bet.
And our congratulations, too, go out from the booth right now. Boy, first and second place, not bad. Let's take another look at Stephen's fantastic pull that won the event by 3 inches.
Boy, I'll tell you, and you saw right after he launched right there, the track pulled him to the right. Part of that in the middle is going away, but that is a true testament to his driving ability.
Indeed it is. Perfect on the brakes. And here's the way they finished, 1st through 7th. Boy, you couldn't get much closer than that 1st and 2nd place for the Cavens. For information on the Outlaw Pullers, check out their website. To obtain a copy of this show, log on to masterstv.com. Ted Jones, so long, everyone.